Hi, my name's Chris and I live in Australia, and currently in Australia we are in a prolonged cost of living crisis, and some of you might be getting a little bit numb to it right now. But I want to ask the question, is everything being critically unaffordable now the new normal?
I'm in Coles right now and I want to show you something. This is why people are struggling. Yep, $11 for 500 grams of fruit salad. That's why we can't survive at the moment.
Is anyone else in Australia kind of like, what's the point? If you're maybe like in your 20s, your 30s, and you're not being given things by your parents, and you've gone to uni, finished school, gone to uni, got a degree, which was meant to get you a good job, and that job was meant to pay for a house and maybe a holiday once a year, and maybe you'd have some kids, and that's like not happening now, and you're kind of just like, what's the actual point of anything?
It's nearly cheaper just to buy beers now.
So we're at the point where Coca-Cola for a 30 pack is now $50, and I checked, that's at Coles, that's at Woolworths, and even at IGA, it's all the same price, $50 for 30 cans of Coca-Cola. But just recently there was a small spike at a Brisbane Woolworths where they tested it out and they tried to do 30 cans of Coca-Cola for $60. Looking back 5 to 6 years, yeah, you can get a 30 pack for 20 to 25 bucks. Now, 50, 60. But at $60 a carton for Coca-Cola, that makes beer cheaper than Coca-Cola in Australia. I can go down to Dan Murphy's, I can pick up a 30 can pack of Great Northerns, the Blackfish, the Super Crisps, or I can pick up a 30 can pack of 4X Golds or Milton Mangoes, and that's going to come in under 60 bucks. Even without that spiked price, but arguably spiked price at $50 for 30 cans right now. Even at that, if you pull out the excise tax on alcohol, a bit over 10 bucks per carton that they're charging right now for a carton of beer, well, beer's still cheaper without the government taxes than Coca-Cola is. So we've hit that point. Beer is cheaper than Coca-Cola in Australia. And a lot of you blokes out there are saying, yeah, so it should be. Beer should be cheaper than Coca-Cola. But beverages aside, I just wanted to have a look to try and understand where this trajectory is going of the cost of living crisis that we're in. And I had a look at minced beef back in 2020 to where it is right now in 2025. Back in 2020, you could get a Coles 3-star regular beef mince, was $4.80 for 500 grams, or $8.80 for 1 kilogram of mince. And if we fast forward to now, that Coles 3-star regular beef mince, it is $8 for 500 grams, or for 1 kilogram, it's coming in at $13. That is a 66% increase over the last 5 years, or alternatively, you could look at it that half a kilogram now could have got you close to a kilogram 5 years ago. And the thing is, it's not getting any better. It's not going to get any easier for us. Moving forwards, we have a few years till an election till anything could happen. And then even if some miracle came through on that election and there was change happening, it'll take years after that to implement through and actually start to see any change occurring. So we've got to brace. We've got to lock in, batten the hatches, because the storm's out there. We're on the ship right now. We don't want our ship to sink. I just finished having a read through a September release on ABS data on selected cost of living stuff. And the CPI index came through at about 3.2%, but I want to have a deeper look into what that actually means. When you get into the weeds of the data, each household type is going to show where the pain is kicking in for them. So this is showing a 12 months year on year from September this year to September last year. We can see these increases on alcohol and tobacco. Now that increase, that's directly driven from our government raising excise taxes. This is government created on the increase. And there's no shock here. We can see that food is increasing for everyone. We can feel that in the pocket when we go out to the supermarkets. It's not prices going down, but prices going up year on year. The cost of health in this country has increased over the CPI average. Your Medicare gap is up. All your supporting stuff outside of your appointment, your medication, your specialist appointments, your non-prescription medication, even just going and getting some Panadol or Nurofen, the price has gone up. But the biggest cost for all household types is housing. And housing is significantly outpacing the CPI average right now. Pensioner and beneficiaries are seeing a 7.7% increase in the costs over the year. Employees, or the working class, are seeing a 7% increase of costs over the year. Our aged pensioners are reporting the worst, with an increase of 9.4% over the year to their housing. Now try follow me here. I'm going to give you some facts, and they're all based around thirds. So I'm going to be saying thirds a lot. 1/3 of Australia currently rents, and 2/3 of that third are currently spending more than 30% of their income on rent, which puts them into rental stress. 2/3 of Australians currently own a home, and out of them 2/3, 1/3 owns their home outright, and the other 2/3 are still paying off a mortgage. And of them 2/3 paying off the mortgage, 44.5% of them are currently in mortgage stress. Your pensions, your settling support, your wages at your job, they are not increasing at a rate to match these increases in housing in the country. Let's try to get a broader perspective. At the start of the year, I was referencing homelessness in Australia. There was over 120,000 people homeless in the country. That was based off 2021 census data. Now that 2021 census data is severely outdated right now. There's more than 120,000 people homeless in Australia right now. I drive down the streets, I see it. I see tents up, I see people sleeping in cars. It is significantly increased. So let's just zoom out a little bit and have a look how this cost of living crisis we're in is impacting housing or having a roof over your head in this country. And to do that, we've got to raise some uncomfortable topics, and we've got to put our egos aside right now and just have a look, what is it to be homeless in Australia? So let's factor the immediate, that's people on the streets, living in cars, living in tents. That's your basic count of homelessness. Now let's look at the wider picture. What about people who are couch surfing at friends and family's places because they can't get a place? Are they homeless? They don't have a permanent address. They're temporary. They are temporarily staying places. They don't have permanent security. What about the people cramming into hot housing, where there's just so many people crammed into one house under illegal renting conditions or illegal boarding conditions? They're not counted towards the homeless over 120,000. Now, what about the people who have moved into a caravan permanently or into a van, chasing that van life without a permanent address because renting or buying is no longer an option? What about people staying in Airbnbs or motels for short-term accommodation over and over again because they can't find somewhere permanent? They're also not counted towards homeless. Now think about how many young people have tried their absolute best and have ended up moving back in with family for long durations now. Nowhere's affordable for them. They're standing in rental lines of 100 people queued up trying to get one place. There is no other option, so they've moved back in with their parents. This is the wider picture. This is what's hurting Australians right now. We have turned the Australian dream into an investment vehicle. Now that investment vehicle, let's look at it as a train. That train has pulled up at the station. It's too expensive for the passengers to buy tickets to get on board now. Now that train is no longer stopping all stations moving forward. It is an express train and we don't know where it's going. But all we know is there's passengers station to station to station moving forwards that cannot afford a ticket, and that train's not stopping for them anymore. So what are we supposed to do? What are your kids supposed to do? What are your grandkids supposed to do? If you're out there struggling right now, what are you supposed to do? What are you supposed to do? What are you expected to do right now? And I guess the bleakest question, is there anything we can do? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.